What is up, everybody? We have another bikers video. This is going to be episode 91, hitting a deer, getting hit in the side, and lots of close calls and crashes. We're going to try to figure out what these people did so that we don't do it ourselves when we're out riding, okay? So let's go ahead and see this first one. We have, we're going pretty decent speed. Oh, we're going faster and faster. Lots of different factors, and there's the left turner. So we have a kind of a panic brake, but we are able to not dump the bike. So that was actually pretty good on the braking. It's just that how did we get into this situation? First off, let's go ahead and start it off right at the beginning because we can see a speedometer, 46. Okay, we're at 46. It might have just came out of an intersection. You see that we have a right turn arrow right there. I believe it's all flipped around. So it looks like we just came out of an intersection. Lots of different hazards coming up, though. We got some road surface hazards. Okay, we got some line of sight issues here. And I noticed that we have some kids, and the mom is carrying the backpack for the kids. We have bicyclists, and we increased our speed from the 40s to now the 70s. So we're increasing, almost doubling at this point, and we don't have a lot of escape paths. The whole point of riding is to be safe, at least in my idea, and then to get to where we want to get to from point A to point B as safe as possible. So right here, we should be planning our ride. We should be positioning for safety, locating hazardous situations. And here is a hazardous situation in my eyes. So we should be in orange stage. We have kids, we have bicyclists, we don't have a lot of escape paths to the left or the right. We have a double yellow. We're going a higher rate of speed. There's just a lot of different things. The only thing you really have control over out of all of that is your speed and your positioning. So we're coming up to here. We're still increasing our speed. We have lots of traffic here. We have the moment that somebody starts to turn left in front of us. At least this is where we perceived it. You noticed how he did perceive that there's going to be something there, and he reaches for that brake. So look at the right side of the screen. There's the brake. So he perceives, and then he reacts, okay? So that is what's going to be part of the total stopping distance. So we perceived that something's happening. We're going to react to it, and then when we start braking, we have the braking distance. So we have the amount of time it takes for us to perceive it. Let's say about a second. How fast are you going? That's how far you're going in a second. Reaction time, maybe a second. How far are you going in a second? Braking distance. What is your total stopping distance? How are you progressively braking? Are you doing it quickly? Are you doing it fast? Either way, you should be doing some progressive braking. The really hard part about all of this is that you're trying to stop at a higher rate of speed than you are if you're going the normal speed limit. So you're going to have some issues with that total stopping distance. You might not be able to stop in time before colliding with a left turner. So this is your total stopping distance. You're trying to stop, and then you hit. If you're going a little bit slower, you might be able to have more time to make a different adjustment. You could be trying to stop. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to stop in time. I'm going to go ahead and swerve. You can do that pretty easily at a lower speed. It's a little harder and harder to do so at higher rates of speed. So left turners are pretty bad. Now, who's really at fault? Doesn't really matter at this point. We have control over what we're trying to do, and this person was not, in my eyes, not going the appropriate speed for the environment. Okay, you might be able to do this, let's say, at 10 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody on the road, everybody's at work, all the kids are in school, there's nothing here. But when kids are out of school, when there's a lot of traffic, it's probably like 4 p.m. or whatever it is, so people are getting off work, you're starting to have more factors. Road surface hazards, pedestrians, roadway users are all big factors in motorcycle crashes. So slow it down certain times a day, do the speed limit, be predictable. That's the biggest thing. All right, so we're coming in here, Mass Rider. This is how I use my GPS, or my phone on my handlebars as GPS. Ooh, happened pretty quickly. He kept it up. It hit him in the hand, so he's going to check his hand real quick. So let's go through here. So this is how I use my GPS right here. I absolutely love it. We have a Quad Lock sponsor, so check out the link in the description for Quad Lock. Absolutely great handlebar mounts. But we're going through here. We're having some fun. We're riding with our buddies in the back. We have the GPS. It's letting us know. It's like the UI of a video game, so you know where the turns are coming up. It's not so you can go faster. It's so you know what's coming up. So we're coming up through here. Look how quick it's going to happen. There's the deer. No time to react. We're in the middle of a turn. We're going at decent rate of speed. We got some good lean angle. This is a recipe for disaster. We have so many different factors here. And the fact that he was able to collide with the deer, which the deer probably died. Lots of mechanism of injury on that deer. And we're able to somehow keep the bike upright, and there's no other hazards, no cars coming, no nothing like that. and we're able to maintain it. The forks are still doing good. The tire is still in place. Everything is still in place. Pretty crazy that that even happened, but even crazier that he was able to keep the bike upright. So in this situation, you know, it's obviously better to have full gear, so make sure you acquire and use personal protective equipment. Have some gloves just in case you get that impact. And if he did drop the bike, if he did crash at 50-something miles an hour, that's what I'm going to assume here, that's going to be a lot of road rash, a lot of impacts to the ground, start tumbling, and if there was a car coming, it's no buenos there. So he did good. Absolutely did fine. I'd wear full gear. Hopefully he's going to be, you know, hopefully he has insurance, because this really does suck. So he's checking his hand because you start to feel that pain. You start to look real quick instinctively, and maybe gear would help him out there. Hopefully he doesn't have any bone fragments inside of his knuckles. That would suck. Yeah, and he has a quad lock too, by the way. That is a quad lock. You can tell right there. So grab a quad lock, guys. Link in the description. Discount code. It's an affiliate link. It helps out the channel. No extra cost to you. Absolutely love mine. All right, we're coming through here. And we have right here, we have a pattern, okay? Write in the comments. Just kidding, I'm going to tell you. It's an open lane right here. There's a big open lane. This vehicle is stuck behind this vehicle. Who knows if this person's going to come out like this? I don't know. Right away, though, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this. This person has a good position for safety in terms of trying to get line of sight, because you're supposed to, for position of safety, let's go ahead and bring that up on the board, the plan method. For position of safety, you want to have good line of sight, an escape path, and a good space cushion. From what I see here, he has a good line of sight, he has a good escape path, but his space cushion is super close to that vehicle right in front of him. So it's not going to give you a lot of time to really do much. But I have a feeling this person's going to come out, or this person's going to slam the brakes, and this person's going to collide. That's my guess with this one. I haven't seen this yet. There it is. There it is. So right here, what we have is this situation. This person is stuck behind this person. This lane is moving quicker. There's a big open spot. That person wants to get in, just like you would want to get in there if you were this truck driver or the van driver or even a motorcyclist, whatever it is, you're on the road. So here's the cool thing, though, is that we are staggered. So this is the line right here. This is the big, nice gap right here. This is the space cushion that we have. So when the person does come in, we are not going to get hit. So it's always important to maintain that staggered position when you are out riding with other vehicles on the road. So we come up to here. Now we're not. So he starts to recognize it. I think he rolled out the throttle right there just a little bit. So here we go. We have somebody coming out. We're in their blind spot. What we need to do here is that we're in lane position. We were in center, so we're kind of like right here. We're going to go ahead and adapt just a little bit, get ourselves out of here to maintain a good space cushion to the vehicle on the right, while at the same time doing some engine braking or progressive braking. We want to squeeze that brake so that we can start moving back. And that doesn't make sense because we're still moving forward, but if you really think about it, the vehicle coming in, and we're right here, if we maintain speed at the same time, let's go ahead and make myself a little bit bigger. If we maintain speed at the same time, we're just kind of doing this. This person's not going to adjust anything. If anything, they're going to accelerate. They're not going to brake or anything. Hopefully they don't. But what we could do here is that if we're traveling, let's go ahead and do this. If we're traveling like this, if we just apply some brakes, that starts to happen. They start to take off ahead of us. So let's go ahead and apply those brakes to allow them to get in, because that's what they're naturally going to do. Let's do the opposite and make ourselves in a better position. Put ourselves in a better position here. So he's moving over to the left. He's applying some brake pressure, I believe. There's the brakes. And you notice how the vehicle is starting to take off while we start to decelerate. So your brakes are a really good escape maneuver. So we have, swerving left, swerving right. We can accelerate to get ourselves out of somewhere, or we can brake to get ourselves out of somewhere. Engine braking, just rolling off the throttle. Progressive braking, using the front brake, which has a lot more stopping power, a lot more braking power than the rear brake, but use both. Use both. Might as well use 100% versus just 70 to 80% of the front brake. Handled it pretty well. Wear a jacket just in case there was a collision. You don't want to get road rash all over your body. Which, by the way, grab some gear from RevZilla. Links in the description. Oh, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more, I guess. We're going to get pissed. That's fine. Whatever. Our bit on two wheels. Okay, merging situation. They're supposed to yield. We did a good job with the brake pressure. We understood that there was a situation coming up. Let's take a quick look at this one. So we're coming up to an intersection. This is going to be a merging intersection. I'm going to be in orange stage once I start to see this. I start to see that we're going to be intersecting right around the same time. Okay. Now let's think a little bit about that. So intersecting around the same time, our brains are pretty good at understanding that. If you played any kind of sports, you kind of get a feel for that. Let's say American football. I'm going to say that because we have a lot of international people, but American football, somebody throws the football, you're running. You can tell it's coming in and you're running in the right direction just by looking at it because you're starting to intersect into it. Same thing with football for the international people, soccer, American soccer. You kick the ball and you start to run towards it. You know how to intersect with things. So sports are really good for hand-eye coordination, how to intersect with certain objects that are already in motion. We're doing that here on the road. We see that this car is coming in. We're going this way. Our speeds are kind of matching. The road is going towards the same situation. It's like us catching a football. The goal is we don't want to catch it. We want to make sure we avoid it. So if anything, it's like trying to get away from the defender. So we're coming up to here. We're starting to intersect. He recognizes that they might not slow down and come to a full stop. They might just go through. So he's in orange stage. He's already rolling off the throttle. You can hear the engine RPMs kind of going down, recognizing the situation. So he's covering the front brakes. He's looking for escape paths, and he's planning his ride. So he located a hazardous situation. Is this an irrelevant threat, or is this a relevant threat? Let's see if we have to navigate it. So let's be prepped right here. Let's not wait until the last second. Let's be prepped right here. No wasted movements here. Already did it. This is a smart rider. Absolutely did a great job. He was seeking, recognizing, and understanding, maintain fundamental skills, and I believe there's full gear. I don't know, but definitely teaching and mentoring us. Go ahead and give the honk if you want to, if you're already in a safe spot. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Quad Lock. You guys make amazing products, and they make it to where we can actually post these videos because we get age restricted, demonetized, and everything, so it allows us to post on YouTube. If you want to help support Quad Lock and help support this channel, click the link in the description for 10% off and grab yourself a case and a handlebar mount. Now let's get right back into it. Here we go. Soy bienso. Okay. Don't have much hazards here other than lots of different factors. We got sides of the vehicles. Should have been paying attention. Now, what kind of impact injuries could that be? So we're talking mechanism of injury. Let's go back just a little bit right there. Mechanism of injury. Let's start off with this. What kind of injuries would we be having? All right, so we're going to have, obviously, the left leg injury. So our left knee, our left tib fib, our left femur, our left ankle, left foot, crush injuries already just right here. That's going to be high impact. This is why we have motorcycle gear. Hopefully, you have really good boots. I like to have shin-high boots. Even the higher, the better. This way, at least it kind of absorbs some of it and keeps it in place. Think of it as like a brace. If it's just kind of flippity-floppity, it's going to better chance of bending and breaking. So I want to have really good boots and good knee armor in my pants, and then even hip armor, because there's that left hip getting hit. So now we got the left elbow hitting the top of the hood. Okay, maybe not the craziest amount of force, but it's still enough force to possibly break or bruise or injure your left elbow. We have our head about to smack. So you got left shoulder. So same thing with the motorcycle jacket. You got shoulder armor. And there's that left side of the head. So when the head hits, the brain inside of the skull is going to slosh. So just think of like the helmet that you have is your skull. The head inside the helmet is your brain. So inside that helmet, it's going to be moving around a little bit. So that's why you want to have a secure helmet, but it's going to be moving around a little bit. Inside your head, inside your skull itself, you have your brain. It is surrounded by cerebral spinal fluid. It's kind of free floating a little bit. It has its own shock absorbers. But if it's too much, it's going to hit the inside of your skull, and it's going to hit the other side. It's going to hit this side. It's going to be bouncing around and causing contusions or bruising on the brain, which is blood on the brain. So you don't want to have that. You're going to have a lot of different issues. Let's go ahead and keep moving. So there's the other impacts. So right here, this is the initial impact. And then right here, head compression on the spine. This is not good. Hopefully he was able to now just land on the back, which you have back armor. If you do, you might want to check your armor on your motorcycle jacket. Make sure it's CE rated. But this is why you want to have back armor. And there's the impact on the ground. High impact. So at this point, here's our not buddy even, but maybe just another motorcycle rider. How do we help this person? We need to remain calm first and foremost, because if we're in a panic, we're not helping anybody. So we can tell someone to call 911, or we can call 911. It looks like cops are here, so that hopefully they're first responders. I don't know if they are in this country, but you also want to ensure your own safety. Ensure your own safety is very, very important. Okay, you don't want to get hit yourself. If you're trying to help somebody and you get hit, you're also a victim. Now there needs to be 2 people to help 2 people that are hurt. So you want to keep it around to 1 to 1, basically. If he has any major bleeds, so a leg is split open, you start having arterial bleeds, maybe there's a puncture to the chest or maybe even to a junctional spot where you can start doing some packing of the wound. But if anything, you can apply direct pressure. We have tourniquets on our rescue packs. You might want to check those out. They're on the store right now. You can pack the wound. We have 4x4 gauze that are inside of that, so you can learn how to pack the wound. We also have the rescue booklet that comes with every single one of these rescue packs. You can also get this separately, but it tells you how to do everything in a fun little comic format. It's like an instruction manual. You also want to quickly assess the severity. So flipping over the card is very important. Now, when I say card, yeah, we do have the cards that come with every single rescue pack. So disorientation, head injury symptoms. I know the coping patterns are in the way. Spinal cord injury, shock symptoms, treatment, all these different things you want to be working and looking out for on this person. So let's go and take a look. Let's see. So he's not getting up. He does not want to get up. So he's started to touch that leg that is going to be guarding of the leg, basically just reaching out, feeling for it. He's got to have some pain there. Maybe a femur issue. Oh yeah, that's broken.
Trata de no moverte, hermano. Trata de no moverte.
More than likely a broken leg.
No moverte, trata de no moverte.
Full face helmet protected his airway and protected his face. No buenos. Not a good situation. Hopefully he's doing fine. Here we go. Lane filtering at high rate of speed. Not the best situation. Hand. Ooh, I think there's a little bit of a clipping. An Indian. Rider Ray shouldn't be going that fast. So what we talked about with the previous video is that we have open lanes. So one of the bad things about lane splitting in lane filtering is that you don't really have escape. So let's get up to here. So let's say something happens. We can't escape to the left, can't escape to the right. All we can do is escape forward, maybe apply some brake pressure to really slow it down. Hopefully nothing happens. So this is a no buenos. This is a no buenos. Can't do much there. So that's a huge issue because that just removed some of your emergency response tools that you have. You can only really progressively brake in an emergency fashion and maybe accelerate. That sucks. So one thing that I like to look out for when I'm lane splitting, or actually lane filtering, because in Arizona you can only lane filter, is that I'm looking for these big gaps when I'm lane filtering. Because this vehicle right here is like, I don't like this car in front of me. I'm going to switch over real quick. So whenever I see a big gap, I kind of roll off the throttle. And I don't see a big gap, I get myself back to maintenance speed. Big gap, roll off the throttle. No gap, maintenance speed. But I'm constantly looking. I'm not going super fast because if everyone else is going slow, the fact that I'm actually getting past everybody is still a win. I don't need to get where I want to go super fast. I just need to get where I want to go without having to really stop. That's the point of lane filtering to me anyways. So I'm coming up to here. That was a big gap right there. So you see an indicator. We're not really paying attention, or we didn't see it. Couldn't really see him. Maybe we saw him last second. Who knows? But we're going at a higher rate of speed. And how are we going to stop? We have rain on the ground, so everything's kind of slippery. We got paint right here, a little bit slippery. We have somebody coming out. We don't have a good total stopping distance. Maybe can't see what we're trying to do. All these factors, not good, not good. So at this point right here, he's going to have to swerve. And then he's got to swerve back because he's going to hit this PT Cruiser right here. So good swerve. It was really good. So really good red stage maneuver. And got himself out of there. That is extremely dangerous. He did a really good job with his skill set to get himself out of that situation. But the whole point of what we do here at Motorcycle Training Concepts and on Dan and the Fireman YouTube channel is to prevent ourselves from getting into that position in the first place, so we don't have to utilize our crazy emergency skills, okay? Let's not put ourselves in there. So what we do is plan our ride. We position for safety, locate hazardous situations, assess relevant threats, and navigate. So he didn't really he didn't really locate this hazardous situation. He assessed it was a relevant threat and navigated it, but we missed that first two parts. We really want to keep ourselves out of danger, but if we have to, we know what to do. So we practice, and then not let ourselves get into that spot. That's really it. Pretty pissed. adrenaline dump. At this point, I would pull over or get myself in line for like a minute or two, do some breath work, get the nervous system to calm down, get the adrenals to really stop releasing the stress hormone of cortisol, but then also all the epinephrine that's going on in your system. I want to calm down before I get back into it, because you start to go into tunnel vision, fight or flight, and you're not using the prefrontal cortex. You're not using the smart adult brain. You're using the reptilian brain to get yourself out of situations. We really want to use that smart adult prefrontal cortex brain to make decisions while we're riding.